Alone at a wedding, she discovered a hidden connection when a billionaire whispered, "Let us change the narrative." Emily steadied herself behind the shimmering champagne fountain, the glistening glasses reflecting the flickering lights of the extravagant reception. The high society wedding in Willow Creek felt like a dream, a fairy tale playing out without her. The laughter and clinking of glasses rang in her ears, each sound a reminder of the life she longed for but could never quite reach. In her crisp black uniform, adorned by a simple white apron, she felt like an outsider, watching the effortlessly glamorous guests in their silk dresses and tailored suits, sparkling like jewels against her modest attire. She poured champagne with practiced grace, her heart heavy as the words of her mother echoed in her mind. "Keep your head high, Emily. Hard work pays off." But at that moment, her heart sank. She had worked tirelessly, juggling multiple jobs to support them both after her mother, trapped in a cycle of sacrifice, had given up on her own dreams. As she glanced around at the joyous celebration, rich laughter, decadent floral arrangements, and a sense of belonging that felt miles away, she couldn't shake the feeling of exclusion. But then he appeared. David, the billionaire son of a powerful family, glided through the crowd like a whisper of wind, drawing eyes and hearts alike. He approached her, his charisma illuminating the dimly lit room. "Let us change the narrative," he said softly, his eyes searching hers for something that wasn't easy to name. The moment felt electric, her heart racing as she met his gaze, a connection forming amid the sea of wealth and privilege. Their conversation flowed like the champagne, revealing their shared dreams and burdens. As he spoke of his own struggles against the expectations layered upon him by his family, Emily felt the walls she had built start to chip away. Here was someone who understood. Someone whose heart beat alongside hers, both battling the confines of their worlds. But the past loomed large, casting shadows of self-doubt within. Could she ever step into his world? What would it mean? The echo of his laughter, drowned by her insecurities, became deafening. Just as the ceiling began to lift, the sky outside turned dark, a storm brewing as if mirroring her own emotions. Before they could dive deeper into the sea of dreams they were building together, tension crackled like static in the air. Family grievances clashed loudly amidst the backdrop of wedding festivities. Old wounds surfaced, revealing the fractured familial bonds around them. Each argument reverberated in Emily's heart, bringing to the forefront her fears of inadequacy and judgments that could rise against their unorthodox connection. It stirred a deep question within her: what did it even mean to belong when acceptance seemed tied to conformity? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As thunder rolled outside, Emily found herself at a crossroads. Would she let fear dictate her choices, tethering her to the shadows of societal judgment? Or could she muster the courage to embrace her true self, to take a leap of faith toward the love that felt undeniably real? The storm raged on, inside and out, every drop a beat in her racing heart. With David at her side, she had to decide: could love truly transcend the barriers built by class? A flicker of hope sparked within, stoking a fire ignited by connection. Would she step into the light or remain hidden in the dark? Emily's heart quickened as she watched the flickering candlelight casting playful shadows on the walls, momentarily taking her focus off the chaos around them. David's voice cut through her thoughts, soothing like the sound of rain on rooftops. "You know, every storm eventually passes," he said, tilting his head slightly as he studied her, searching for reassurance in her eyes. She nodded, breathing deeply to quell the turbulence stirring inside her. "Right," she replied, her voice barely a whisper, tight with anxiety. But the flicker of hope she felt before was reigniting. She was still standing in the eye of the storm, and his presence was grounding her. "Why don't we step outside?" David suggested, gesturing towards the massive glass doors that led to the terrace. The rain had started falling softly, draping the world outside in a misty veil. The storm might be the perfect backdrop for a different kind of conversation. She hesitated. The guests inside swirled in their lavish bubble, unaware of the storm clouding her thoughts. But David's easy smile drew her in, his warm gaze promising shelter. The thrill of stepping into the unknown surged within her. Okay, Emily breathed, feeling herself take that first step towards something uncharted. As they stepped onto the terrace, the cool mist kissed her cheeks, awakening her senses. David leaned against the railing, his posture relaxed, a man with a world of privilege, yet his focus remained solely on her. Tell me about your dreams, Emily, he urged gently, his voice barely a whisper against the drumming rain. Her thoughts raced. I want to build something, she found herself saying, the words slipping out unfiltered. I want to start a community center for kids, to give them the chances that I never had. I want them to dream bigger. His eyes sparked with interest. That's incredible. His approval felt like a lifeline. What's stopping you? Money, connections. Her head dipped slightly, the weight of her reality pressing in. It's easy for you. For me it feels like climbing a mountain. You can't climb it alone, he said, stepping closer. Let me help. Use what I have to elevate your dreams, Emily. His offer hung between them, heavy with implication. She froze, grappling with swirling emotions. David, a billionaire, extended his hand to her, someone perceived as less in the eyes of society. What would people say? She blurted out, fear gripping her heart. What would your family think? Let them think what they will, David replied fiercely, his conviction pushing against her doubts. This isn't about them. It's about you, about us. We can push against the narrative they want to write. Her breath hitched. The clarity of his words pierced through her insecurities. Maybe it was possible to forge a different path. Could she really allow herself to be vulnerable enough to accept his help without feeling diminished? The storm around them intensified. Raindrops mingled with her thoughts, washing away barriers she had kept up for so long. Emily smiled, feeling hope bubbling alongside courage. Okay, she said, feeling stronger now. But let's do this together. A warmth spread through David's expression at her response, deepening the bond that had formed between them. It was not just about dreams or assistance but the connection that transcended their backgrounds, making the impossible feel possible. As the first flashes of lightning illuminated the sky, Emily let out a laugh that surprised even her. It was light and playful, mingling with the thunder as the barriers of her fearful heart began to fall away. In that moment, she realized she was ready. The conversations ahead would come with challenges, but she was willing to fight for it, whatever it might be. Suddenly, a loud crash of thunder broke their moment. David chuckled, shaking his head. We should probably get back inside before we turn into wet rats. Her laughter echoed, lightening the tension. Good idea, billionaire. As they turned to head back, Emily felt a new energy shift how she viewed her place in the world. Perhaps love did change narratives, she thought, glancing back at David, who smiled knowingly beside her. But just as they reached the door, Emily caught a glimpse of the reception hall illuminated by a flash of lightning. Her heart dropped. A shadow she recognized stepped through the entrance, and reality came flooding back, forcing her to question everything anew. Could she truly embrace this new beginning, or would the storm of the past drag her back down? The figure standing in the reception hall felt like a ghost from her past, wings of nostalgia unfurling around Emily. Her stomach knotted, emotions roiling inside her. There, framed in the golden light spilling from the chandeliers, was Jason, her childhood friend turned first love, the boy who had once promised her the world before their lives took them down different paths. As if sensing her gaze, he locked eyes with her. A mix of surprise and confusion crossed his face. Emily's heart raced. The storm clouds in her mind grew dark again, threatening to pull her under. What was he doing here? David paused beside her, concern etched on his face. Are you okay? Emily forced a nod, though panic bubbled just underneath the surface. She needed to move, to escape the weight of memories battering against her like a wave. I just need a moment, she said, stepping away from David's side and toward the safety of the railing that framed the terrace. Emily! Jason called out, his voice cutting through the din of the party. Hard hammering, she turned slowly, the rain now a distant pattern in her ears, dulled by the rush of blood. He approached with purposeful strides, and with every step, her memories came flooding back, the laughter, the secrets, and the eventual heartbreak. "What are you doing here?" she asked, keeping her tone composed even as her heart raced. "I could ask you the same." "This is a wedding," he said, a small grin that was nostalgic in a painful way. "The last place I expected to see you." The laughter and chatter from inside blurred into a backdrop, and suddenly it was just the two of them. "I had no idea you would come," he continued. "It's been, 2 years?" 2 years since you went off to that fancy school," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "And you couldn't even say goodbye." "I'm sorry. Things got complicated." He looked down, then back at her, vulnerability evident in his expression. "Can we talk?" The tension between them crackled like electricity. Emily's mind raced through the past, whisking her away from the present. She felt herself teetering on familiarity that could either offer warmth or consume her with regret. But before she could respond, David stepped forward, his presence commanding. "Is everything all right?" he asked, a faint edge to his voice. Jason's eyes flicked towards David, assessing. "Yeah, we were just catching up." "Catching up?" David's tone was firm. "This isn't a great time for that, is it?" It was a protective instinct from David, but Emily felt the weight of his words press down. She wasn't a child anymore, needing others to shield her. "No, it's fine." She let out a breath, shifting to face Jason fully. "Maybe it's time we did talk." David's brows knitted together, but he nodded slowly, stepping back. "I'll be inside if you need me." The space between Emily and Jason felt electric now. Jason took her hand, warm and familiar, and she felt a momentary spark, a reminder of days long past, where nothing else mattered but their laughter and dreams. But that was before life happened, before choices were made that led them both into separate worlds. "I've missed you," Jason confessed, his voice soft. The sincerity in his eyes pulled at her heartstrings, but Emily's resolve surged, intertwining with her fluttering fear. "You broke my heart, Jason. I know, and I'm sorry. But seeing you here now makes me realize what?" She interrupted, her breath hitching. "That you just wanted to reconnect because the memories are easier than facing the present?" "What?" "No, it's not like that." A rumble of thunder echoed in the distance, and the rain began to fall harder. Emily could feel every heartbeat in her chest drowning out his explanations. Her past loomed like a dark cloud, threatening to suffocate the hopes she had just started to cultivate with David. "Emily, please," Jason pleaded, reaching for her, but she took a step back. "I can't," she began, her voice breaking. Torn between old affections and new hopes, she felt lost. It was time to either let the past go completely, or risk being swept away by the storm that had just begun to brew. As she wrestled with her emotions, David's figure moved back to her, concern evident in his gaze. With a fierce resolve, Emily realized she stood at the precipice of a decision that could alter the course of her life, and the answer was just beyond her reach. Would she have the strength to choose a path forward, or would the storm dissolve everything she had worked hard to build? The question loomed, casting a shadow over both her heart and mind. The rain poured down, drumming in urgent rhythm against the terrace roof. The atmosphere was charged, as if nature itself sensed the turmoil swirling within Emily. She felt the pulse of memories rising to the surface, each one a siren song, beckoning her to remember what she once had. "Just listen to me," Jason urged, desperation lacing his voice. His hand seemed to hover in the air, waiting for her to grasp it, but she resisted, uncertainty anchoring her feet to the ground. She wanted to believe him, to trust that the boy she once loved was still there somewhere beneath the weight of time and choices. "I don't know if I can do this, Jason," she confessed. The admission hung between them, fragile and raw. "Why not? We were best friends once." "There's so much unsaid," he replied, a flicker of hope igniting in his eyes. "Best friends who hurt each other," Emily countered. "Do you really think it's that easy to just pick up where we left off?" I'm not that girl anymore. Neither am I, he argued, stepping closer, his expression earnest. But I want to try. I can't just walk away like I did before. In his gaze, she saw remnants of the boy she had loved, the boy who would steal her heart with nothing more than a shared smile. The years melted away, leaving an ache that was distinctly familiar. Yet the warmth was shadowed by the memories of abandonment, of feeling discarded when he left. Try what? To rehash the past? She shot back, the sting of old wounds evident in her tone. I've moved on, Jason. I'm with David now. He cares about me. I know that. His voice softened, and the melancholy in his smile tugged at her heart. I'm happy you found someone. But can't we at least talk? Clear the air? The word talk hung heavy, promising revelations that could dredge up old feelings but also could lead to painful closure. The night air felt charged, and for a moment she could almost feel the brush of his fingers against her cheek as they had during lazy summer days. David's voice intruded, sharp and protective. Emily, are you sure this is the right time? We're at a wedding. He had always been the rock, the solid ground amidst her cluttered thoughts. Yet tonight, standing torn between old love and new, challenged her clarity. She glanced at him, searching for reassurance. I need to do this, David, she said, heart racing. Please. With a deep mix of jealousy and understanding, David pulled back but didn't leave entirely. He stood on the edge of the terrace, arms crossed, watching intently. With a focused breath, she turned back to Jason. Fine. We can talk. But only for a few minutes. Relief surged across his features. That is all I ask. I just want to explain why I disappeared. A sudden crack of lightning illuminated the ominous sky, and a tension settled over them, deeper than before. As they spoke under the darkening clouds, Emily could feel her walls beginning to crack, the barrier she had built around her heart slipping ever so slightly. What you need to understand is that leaving wasn't a decision I took lightly, Jason began, and his voice dropped, carrying the weight of his honesty. I thought it was what was best for both of us, but I was wrong. I didn't choose to hurt you. I thought. Thought what? She prodded, curiosity rising against her better judgment. That it would be easier to cut ties than to stay and face the fact that I was leaving for good. To say goodbye would have made it real, and I just couldn't handle that. Each word pierced through her, making her question if there were pieces of their story still worth salvaging. Emily felt a swirl of conflicting emotions, a part of her longing to reconnect but another part, fiercely protective of her heart, urging her to remember the hurt. Jason glanced back, his expression softening. I want to make things right, Em. I don't expect us to be what we once were, but I'd like a chance to show you how I've changed. Your changes don't erase the past, she reminded him, her heart fluttering. The thunder boomed in reply, echoing her unanswered questions. As the rain enveloped them, Emily knew that she stood at a critical crossroad. Would she let herself be swept away by apologies and chances, or would she steadfastly hold on to the life she had fought to create? In her heart, a flicker of hope glimmered, threatening to break through the shadows. Before she could settle her thoughts, David stepped toward them, sensing the uncertainty hanging in the air. Emily, let us get inside. This storm is intensifying. His protective tone rang clear and firm, but it was the undercurrent of concern that caught her attention. She looked between the two men, each representing a different path, a different life. Inside, laughter and music beckoned, while the storm loomed overhead. Which path would she choose, and once she stepped forward, would she be able to turn back? The night held answers, but the decision weighed heavily, with lightning flashing through her mind just as it did across the sky. Would she embrace the storm, or would she seek refuge in the quiet calm of the life she had begun to build? The thunder rolled, and the pouring rain answered her unspoken prayers. In the depths of her soul, she understood she would have to decide soon, for the storm, much like her emotions, was far from over. Emily stood frozen, the storm swirling around her like a tempest of unresolved feelings. Each droplet of rain felt like a question, each rumble of thunder a reminder of the stakes she faced. Jason's eyes, filled with nostalgia and pain, searched hers, desperately seeking a bridge back to the past. Just give me a chance to explain, Jason said, urgency flooding his words. I was scared. I was too young to realize how deeply I cared about you. But you left, she countered, her voice barely rising above the storm's roar. You left me behind without a word. I thought I was protecting you, he said softly, the sincerity in his tone making her heart ache. I was struggling with my own demons. I thought if I stayed, I would only drag you down with me. Jason's admission struck at the raw core of her pain. The abandonment had left her with scars, and even now, years later, those wounds felt exposed. Memories of laughter and dreams created together flooded back, momentarily overshadowing the hurt. The rain intensified, drenching them both as if trying to wash away the distance that had grown between them. Emily turned away, scrubbing at the tears that mixed with the rain. This isn't fair, Jason. It's not fair to throw all of this at me now when I'm trying to build a life with David. He's a good guy, Jason said, his voice softer, more respectful. I see the way he looks at you. But I need you to know that I've grown too. I've done the work on myself. I'm not that scared kid anymore. As if on cue, David stepped closer, his protective presence wrapping around Emily like a shield. We should really go inside, Emily. This is a lot. We can talk about this later. No! The words slipped from her lips before she could contain it, surprise marking her expression as her emotions unraveled. I need to know, David. Please! A silent battle shone in David's eyes, caught between concern for her and frustration at Jason's sudden intrusion. He shifted uneasily, his arms dropping to his sides, but he stayed, unwilling to abandon her. Jason's face softened as he continued, I hurt you before. I can't change that. But I want to show you who I am now. Give me a few minutes. Let me explain everything. Each second felt like molasses as a decision tugged at Emily's heart. Did she dare lift the veil on her past at a wedding, surrounded by laughter and hope? The weight of their shared history hung heavy between them, a tangible thing threatening to pull her back into a whirlwind of confusion. David cleared his throat, his gaze fixed on Jason with warning. That's a lot to unpack. You think you can just wade back into her life after everything? I'm not asking to come back fully. I understand that would take time. I just want to share the truth. Jason's voice cracked, visibly shaken. I can prove I'm not the same person who walked away. As the storm raged on, Emily felt an answer pressing against her ribcage like a drum. She glanced at David, who looked like he was preparing for a storm of his own. Then she turned back to Jason, a fire igniting within her. They had history, they had love. Or maybe it was an illusion fueled by the nostalgia of shared moments. Fine, she exhaled, voice steadying as her resolve formed. But this doesn't mean I'm choosing you. I need to hear you out. I need to understand. Jason nodded, relief washing over his features. That's all I'm asking for. But before she could fully grasp what that meant, the electricity of unresolved feelings sparked between them. The rain drumming down made everything feel surreal, as if they were the only three beings in this chaotic world, her, Jason, and David, each grounded in their own universe. Yet deep down, Emily understood that clarity was fleeting. What they were dancing around could open floodgates or create more distance than ever before. Suddenly, a blinding flash of lightning split the sky, illuminating a path forward, as if urging her to decide before the storm progressed further. Let us talk, she said, breathless but firm. But I can't promise anything. As they moved closer, the distance between them shrinking, Emily sensed the gravity of the moment weighing heavy in her chest. There was no easy answer looming on the horizon, and with that realization, she felt the weight of the coming storm, a storm of truth and revelation unlike any she had faced before. What would it mean for her future if she dared to look back? Would uncovering the past shatter the life she had painstakingly built with David? The unsettling thought settled deep within as thunder announced their imminent conversation. A decision awaited, and Emily stood at the brink, ready to uncover treasures hidden in the storm, or perhaps the fire of revival. Emily took a deep breath, trying to steady herself as the storm danced around them. The rain poured, yet her heart beat louder than the thunder overhead. She felt the pull of history, the complicated threads of love and pain that tied her to Jason. Jason stepped closer, the warmth of his presence cutting through the cold, rain-soaked air. You deserve to know everything, Em. I was young and foolish, but I've learned. I want to be honest with you. I owe you that much at least. His words hung in the air, heavy and thick. Emily felt her defenses waver, a mixture of anger and longing bubbling up within her. How could she let him speak when David waited nearby, uncertainty flickering in his eyes? Fine, she said again, trying to project confidence despite the storm swirling inside her. Talk. But I can't promise I'll like what I hear. Jason nodded, his expression softened by vulnerability. When I left, I thought it was for the best. I didn't want you to see me fail. I didn't want to pull you down into my mess. I understand being scared, Emily said, her voice barely above a whisper. But walking away didn't protect me at all. It shattered my trust. I know, he replied, his voice breaking slightly. But during the years I faced my demons. I went to therapy. I got clean. I found a new purpose. I didn't want to come back until I was worthy of your love again. All the emotions that had been tucked away wrestled for attention. Could it be true? Could he really have changed? The memories, the laughter, the dreams danced before her, pulling at her heartstrings. But David's shadow loomed large, a reminder of the life she was trying to build. What if you haven't changed? She shot back, the fire in her voice surprising her. What if this is just empty talk? Jason took a step back, hurt flickering across his face. I can't make you believe me. I wish I could. But all I can do is show you. Let me prove it to you someday. Just give me this moment. Thunder crashed, punctuating the tension between them. The storm felt like a reflection of the chaos in her mind. Emily looked at David, seeing his worry morph into a deep-seated frustration. All you're doing is opening old wounds, Jason, David said, his voice steady but tense. You should let her be, let her go. David, please, Emily interjected, her heart racing. I need to hear him out. But what about us? His voice cracked under the weight of the moment. What are you even thinking? You can't just open this door based on a nostalgic past. I don't know, she cried. I don't know what I'm thinking. The wind howled, carrying her words into the night. The rain fell heavier, washing over the three of them, each lost in their thoughts. Emily felt torn, one foot rooted in her present life with David, the other inching towards memories that were both warm and painful with Jason. Jason said softly, I'm not here to take you away from him. I'm just hoping to find a way to start again, even if it's as friends. The sincerity in his voice struck a chord deep within her. A flicker of hope mingled with fear. How could she possibly navigate feelings this complex? David stepped closer, his brow furrowing in frustration. This doesn't make sense, Emily. You have a life now, a good one. I know, she whispered, brushing a raindrop from her cheek. The truth was, she loved that life. She loved David. But she couldn't shake off the allure of what had been what could have been. As the storm raged louder and the first drops of lightning illuminated the night sky again, Emily hesitated, the weight of decision pressing down. She felt like she was standing on the edge of an emotional cliff, teetering between two worlds. Maybe it doesn't make sense, she managed, her voice faint. But I need to figure out what this feeling is. I need to confront it for me. And with that, she turned back to Jason and David, ready to dive deeper into the messy waters swirling around them. She could no longer hide from her past or her present. The next few minutes were critical not just for her, but for all of them. As they stood together, heartbeats intertwined with the rhythm of the storm, a revelation hung in the air, pregnant with possibilities. What would she discover if she dared to unpack her emotions and confront both men in her life? But just then, another flash of lightning illuminated the cafe across the street, revealing a figure standing inside someone who would change everything. Who was that? What did they know? Emily's heart raced as every part of her felt the pull of fate. What awaited beyond those doors could shatter everything, or perhaps build something new. The figure inside the cafe did not move. They stood by the window, shrouded in shadows, but even from a distance, Emily felt an unshakable sense of familiarity. The silhouette reminded her of someone from long ago. Maybe it was just wishful thinking, heightened by the storm and the chaos in her heart. "What's going on?" David's voice pulled her back. "Are you okay?" Emily blinked away the haze of memories that had threatened to drown her. "I need to check that out." She nodded toward the cafe, her instincts pushing her feet forward. Wait. Jason was quick on her heels, but she shook her head, needing space to process everything. Whatever was inside, it felt more important than the fight brewing between her heart and her mind. The rain lashed against the pavement as she crossed the street, the world around her a blur of sound and color. Each step resonated with the doubts clawing at her insides, but she had to know who that person was. With each flash of lightning, the figure grew clearer, a woman, alone, her face obscured by the dim light inside. As she approached, Emily's breath caught in her throat. The woman looked up just as another flash lit up the room. It was Megan, her best friend from high school, someone she hadn't seen in years. All at once, the memories of laughter, secrets, and late-night talks flooded back. "Megan?" Emily gasped, heart racing. It felt strange to see her here, amid this storm of emotions. Megan's expression shifted from surprise to warmth, and she rushed toward Emily, enveloping her in a tight hug. "Emily! I can't believe it's really you! Wow, what are the chances?" Emily laughed, trying to shake off the heaviness from earlier. But it was harder than she expected. "I thought you were in Chicago." "I moved back," Megan said, pulling away with a smile. "Let's just say, life threw some curveballs. How about you? Are you okay? You look a little overwhelmed." "That might be an understatement," Emily replied, her smile wavering. "Long story short, things got complicated really fast." She glanced back, half expecting Jason to appear. Megan turned serious, nodding as she caught the hint of distress in Emily's eyes. "You want to talk about it? I've got all the time in the world." The suggestion was tempting. A moment of reprieve amidst the chaos felt like a lifeline. They settled into a corner table, the hum of the cafe isolating them from the storm outside. As Emily began to recount the whirlwind with Jason and David, her voice grew stronger. Megan listened intently, her expression shifting with every twist and turn. When Emily spoke about the storm of feelings she couldn't decipher, Megan leaned in, her voice low and reassuring. "You know, sometimes rediscovering old connections can feel just as intense as finding new ones." "Right, but how do I know if it's what I really want?" Emily admitted, frustration bubbling up. Megan took a sip of her drink, contemplative. "What do you really feel for Jason? And what about David? It sounds like both have carved out pieces of your heart." With that, Emily felt the weight of her indecision crush down again. It was true, she had deep feelings for both men, but would revisiting her past ruin her future? The sound of thunder clapping outside punctuated her thought, reminding her of the storm that had brought them together that very night. Just then, a figure stepped into the cafe, startling Emily from her thoughts. It was Jason, his face a mask of concern as he scanned the room. Relief flickered in his eyes when they met hers, but uncertainty trailed behind him. "Emily, can we talk?" His voice cut through the murmur of the cafe like a lifeline. She felt Megan's hand squeeze her wrist beneath the table, reminding her that she wasn't alone. But was this the conversation she was ready for, or would it send her spiraling back into chaos? Torn between the past and present, the answers felt just out of reach. As she looked back at Jason, feeling the intensity radiating off him, another question burned in her heart. Would she keep choosing the familiar pain, or could she allow herself to forge a new path? And there, in the storm-battered night, Emily knew that whatever decision she made next would change everything. Emily took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the decision hang in the air like the storm clouds outside. Jason stepped closer, his eyes searching hers, reflecting a connection that she had long tried to ignore. She could feel Megan's presence beside her, a steady reminder that she was not alone. Yet, a whirlwind of emotions churned within her: shock at seeing Megan again, confusion over Jason's unexpected arrival, and the haunting memories of her past. "What is it, Jason?" Emily asked, her voice steadier than she felt. The clatter of dishes and low chatter in the cafe faded away, leaving just the two of them in an intimate bubble. Jason rubbed the back of his neck, a gesture Emily had come to associate with his nerves. "I've been thinking about everything we've been through." His words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken feelings. "I know it's complicated, but I need you to understand that I care about you, Em. A lot." A flicker of hope sparked in Emily's chest, quickly smothered by doubt. She glanced at Megan, who offered an encouraging nod, as if to say, "You can do this." "I care about you too, Jason," she admitted. "But life is messy right now. It's not just about us." Jason's brow furrowed as he took in her words. "What do you mean by that?" Emily hesitated. "There's David, and he has feelings for me too. I don't want to hurt anyone," especially when her voice trailed off, the weight of her indecision pressing down on her. Megan leaned forward, her eyes flickering between them. "You deserve to be happy, Emily. Don't let the fear of hurting someone else dictate your choices." Jason looked at Emily, his expression softening. "I don't want to rush you, but I need to know what you're thinking. I've been lost without you, and I can't keep pretending like everything's okay." The vulnerability in his voice sent a warm surge through Emily. Yet, the reality of her tangled feelings for both men kept pulling her mind in different directions. As the wind howled outside, another flash of lightning illuminated the cafe, making her heart race anew. "What if you and David are meant to be?" she questioned, her voice shaking. "What if I'm just getting in the way? Can we risk what we had?" "That's the thing," Jason said, stepping even closer. "I believe what we had was special. And despite the time apart, I still feel it. We can find our way back if you let me." Her chest tightened at his words. The idea of diving back into that connection scared her, but the warmth from Jason's gaze, full of emotion and sincerity, made her heart race in a way she hadn't felt in years. Before she could respond, the cafe door swung open again, letting a rush of cold air and rain into the cozy space. Emily looked up and gasped at the sight of David standing at the entrance, drenched and looking for her. "Emily! There you are!" David called out, his eyes locking onto hers with a mix of relief and frustration. Caught in this moment of chaos, Emily felt her heart thud painfully in her chest. Here were the two men vying for her attention, and the storm outside raged on, mirroring the battle within her. Caught between Jason, who represented the familiar warmth of her past, and David, with his unknown potential, Emily felt herself spiraling into confusion. With emotions threatening to boil over, Emily suddenly realized how monumental her choice was. Each decision she made would ripple into more than just her future. It would alter the dynamics of love and friendship surrounding her. And as David approached, dread and anticipation swirled inside her. She had to decide now, or risk losing everything. What would she choose? Would she find the courage to confront her feelings, or remain paralyzed by what-ifs? With the storm as her only company, could she face the truth that might lead her to the happiness she yearned for? Emily's heart raced as David approached, his disheveled hair sticking to his forehead, and his clothes showing signs of the rain he had just battled through. She could feel the heat of Jason standing beside her, his very presence a silent challenge. How could she choose one of them, when both made her feel so different yet equally alive? David started, but his voice caught as he noticed Jason beside her. The tension in the cafe thickened, mirroring the storm outside. The moment felt suspended in time, as if the universe was holding its breath with her. "I was looking for you," David said, a hint of concern flickering in his eyes. "I thought you might need someone to talk to." He turned to Jason. "Hey, man." The tone was polite but edged with something unspoken. Jason nodded but didn't move back. "I'm just checking in on Emily." His voice was calm, but Emily sensed the unyielding pulse of competition beneath the surface. "Is everything okay?" David asked, his eyes meeting Emily's with an intensity that made everything else fade away. She felt his concern wrap around her like a warm blanket, but doubt crept in. Could she really delve into what lay within her heart when everything felt so fraught? It's complicated, Emily replied, her voice trembling slightly. The honesty of her words hung heavy in the air. She felt torn, like a leaf caught between two powerful winds. Complicated how? David pressed, his brow furrowing deeper. He stepped closer, drawing Emily's attention solely to him. I want to help you, whatever it is. Maybe you both need to take a step back, Megan interjected, her tone light yet firm. She looked between the three of them, sensing the swirling emotions. Emily deserves the chance to think. This is a lot. I just want to know what I did wrong, David said, his sincerity slicing through Emily's confusion like a sharp knife. I hate seeing you stressed, Em. It's tearing me apart. Hearing that, a rush of guilt washed over her. She didn't want to harm anyone. But the silent longing in the depths of Jason's gaze tugged at her heart, reminding her of a time when everything felt easy, when love was uncomplicated. Suddenly, the lights flickered in the cafe, followed by a booming crack of thunder that resonated through the air. Emily felt a shiver run down her spine. Maybe we should all just take a breath, she suggested, forcing a smile that masked her turmoil. Let us just not make any hasty decisions right now. David nodded reluctantly. Whatever you need. His expression softened, but a flicker of disappointment danced behind his eyes. Jason, still scrutinizing Emily, said quietly, I can wait. Just don't push me away completely. Those words pulled into her heart, stirring the yearning she felt deep inside. As the three of them settled into an uneasy silence, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that time was running short. Each tick of the clock was a reminder that she had to decide between Jason and David, between the safety of the past and the thrill of the unknown. Emily leaned against the table, her mind racing with questions. What if I choose wrong? She whispered to herself, lost in thought. You won't know if you don't choose at all, Megan said softly, sensing Emily's inner turmoil. With the storm still raging outside, Emily felt the weight of expectation pressing down on her chest. She closed her eyes for a brief moment, trying to center herself against the chaos swirling around them. And then it hit her. What if her choice didn't just define her future? What if it could transform her into someone she didn't recognize but desperately needed to find? As those thoughts flickered like the lightning outside, she knew one thing: the coming storm would reveal the truth she had been hiding from. But as a new doubt surfaced within her, she realized that the hardest question remained unanswered. Could she truly bear to break someone's heart, knowing that every choice would ripple far beyond her own life? The answer lingered just out of reach, waiting to be discovered. How long could she keep pretending she had time? Emily stood at the crossroads of her heart, feeling the storm of emotions swirl around her. She glanced at Jason and David, their eyes filled with hope, concern, and a mixture of past and present. The weight of her indecision pressed down on her, almost suffocating. Emily, David began, his voice steady, but the uncertainty was palpable in his eyes. Just tell me what you need. I want to be here for you. I need to understand who I am and what I want, she confessed, her voice cracking under the strain. Jason stepped forward, the sincerity in his gaze burning through the tension. You don't have to choose right this second. Just take your time. I'm here, willing to show you that I've changed. He paused, his breath hitching. But I can't pretend it's easy seeing you with him. A silence hung in the air, heavy with the need for clarity. Emily felt her heart pulled towards the warmth of their shared memories with Jason, yet the security and unwavering support from David anchored her to the present. Maybe what you need is time away from both of us, Megan chimed in, her voice cutting through the chaos like a guiding light. Reflect on who you truly want to be, without the noise from either side. Time? Okay. That makes sense, Emily mumbled, almost to herself. The thought of stepping back felt liberating. She could breathe, dream, and contemplate without the pressure of decisions pressing down. Let us all step outside, into the storm, Megan suggested gently, and everyone turned their gazes toward the cafe door. Sometimes, a little chaos helps us find clarity. With a nod, they stepped back into the rain, the gusty winds pulling them into the night where every raindrop felt like a promise. Once outside, the storm enveloped them, adding a visceral layer to their emotional turmoil. The cold droplets mixed with the warmth of their bodies as they stood beneath the heavy clouds. I know it's messy, but life can be that way. We need to embrace the chaos, Megan said, her voice rising above the howling wind. What do you really desire, Em? Emily looked up at the rain-soaked sky, feeling the droplets wash away her fears. Closing her eyes, she allowed herself to feel the splashes against her skin, a reminder of the vitality coursing through her veins. In that moment, a realization sparked within her. She didn't need to define her choices solely by love for Jason or the stability David offered. What if, just for once, she chose herself? What if she leaned into her dreams and passions instead of solely romantic connections with either man? Her heart raced as she spoke. I want to build that community center. I want to uplift those kids and open worlds for them. It's about dreaming big for others, not just myself. The acknowledgement came rushing out of her, and it felt exhilarating. Then do it, David encouraged, his eyes shining with pride. You have my support, whatever that looks like. And mine. Jason stepped close, filled with understanding. Even if it takes time for us to figure things out. You need to follow your heart first. Tears filled Emily's eyes, tears of relief. She didn't have to rush or force a choice. Instead, she could forge her path, inspired by the ache of past love and buoyed by the potential of new beginnings. As the storm raged on, she took a deep breath. I need some space to find my purpose. For the first time, it feels right to choose myself. I don't want to hurt either of you. The hard truth resonated within her heart. And I want us to build something meaningful, whatever that looked like. With newfound determination, she smiled at both men. The storm around them began to feel less threatening, as if it was part of their growth, riding the waves of uncertainty, each connection holding potential through the chaos. The flickering of lightning overhead illuminated her vision. Emily knew she'd navigate this adventure with grace, whether it meant rekindling her past with Jason or embracing the love David offered. As they stepped back into the cafe, umbrellas in hand, the laughter of distant guests echoed in the air, renewed possibilities flowing around them. Emily felt the warmth spread through her heart, filling each crack with hope. It was time to embark on this journey, embracing the moments, learning, and growing together into something the world had yet to see. The storm might still rage, but Emily felt ready to take on whatever came her way. Now, dear friends, if you've been moved by this journey and transformation, this is your moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you to conquer your own storms. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread the positivity. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about the ending. Your thoughts matter more than ever. And for the love of inspiration, share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see the power of transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Let us lift each other up, one story at a time.